Hey, this is Nuno Bettencourt, and I want you to register to vote. I know what you're thinking. God, not another actor or artist or Hollywood type telling us to vote like we're a bunch of kids. I get it. I agree. But before you swipe away and tune out, I'm not reaching out to you today as an artist. I'm talking to you today as a dad, a brother, an immigrant, a citizen who works his ass off like you to maybe own his house someday or just simply make enough money to support his family and just maybe send his kids to college. After 30 years of recording and touring the planet, I just happen to have an Instagram and a Facebook account that reaches a modest amount of people. So, for my birthday, as a gift to myself, I thought I would selfishly take a few minutes or more of my time to share some honest thoughts with you. I wrote down on my birthday thoughts that I feel affect us all. I know that most of you who follow my accounts wish that I would just shut the fuck up and play my guitar. Sorry, I know it's hard for most musicians to fathom, but sometimes there are more important things than just videos of much younger guitarists showing us how to do hybrid picking up and down the neck. By the way, something I'm still trying to learn, so I feel you. And I'm not interested in politics, nor do I want to talk to you about politics. This is about us. Okay, let me try this again. I want you to register to vote. Simple, right? I mean, life is complex and hard enough to navigate as it is, but we do take the time to register everything else. Our car, our marriage, our kids. We register everything in this country. So you would think just one little registration and a vote every 4 years would be easy. A no-brainer. So it's pretty mind-boggling that only 60% of all us able voters in the US actually registered and voted on the last election. A little more than half. That's pretty fucking crazy considering that this one little vote collectively will choose the leader of our country, a leader that with every decision he or she makes will directly affect our families, friends, and all the people we care about. Not just in the US, but globally. One thing that we do really well, especially through social media, is share our opinions. Oh yeah. Mostly someone else's opinions in meme form, but we all do it. And that's because the socials give us a platform for our individual voices to be heard. If we can take the time to do this on a daily basis, for sure we can take the time once every 4 years to really use that same voice for something so important that will influence the outcome of the next 4 years of our lives. Because if we want any sort of change, 60% of us showing up is not going to get it done. And I'm not sharing this with you to influence you into voting for my choice. There's enough people on socials already pressuring you and guilting you into voting for who they want. This is your choice, no one else's. I'm not even asking you to support the Republican Party or the Democrat Party or any party. Although maybe I lied. Maybe there is a party I am asking you to join. The Common Sense Party. Where we all actually use our minds, instincts, our smarts, and hearts to vote for a person. Not a trendy club or a movement. Just an individual that supports what we all commonly strive for and need as a people to get that secure, equal, peaceful, and trusting place with each other. I mean, we're all going to have our differences. No president is going to appease all 330 million of us in this country. It ain't going to happen. We're going to have to be realistic. So this can no longer be just about the left winning or the right winning. This is not a sport. This is our lives. And if you recently watched the debate like I did, you may just want to opt out of voting altogether. You're probably saying, I want no part of this. But what you witnessed the other night was as American pie. People now discouraged and bummed. As far as I'm concerned, that was as real as it gets. Those are the candidates, unfiltered, like it or not. And voter suppression and voter fatigue, don't fall for it. That's been happening for decades. Don't do it. And even now, with our current president being ill, things get crazier. But it's 2020. And instead of throwing your hands up and saying, fuck it, let's look at the 2020 shit show as a wake-up call. And because if you're not, liking or trusting either candidate, sometimes we have to just support the lesser of the two evils. They're all politicians, so you have to vote for the devil that you know and trust the most. We can at least support the candidate who at the very least has the capacity to pull us together and begin a dialogue towards basic and moral solutions. Yes, there are current issues at hand. So hopefully, someone to invest into refining a police force that is actually willing to prosecute their own officers when involved in criminal activity and corruption, but also willing to celebrate, reward, and strengthen the hundreds of thousands of officers in our country who risk their lives every day to keep our neighborhoods safe from those very criminals. Criminals in uniform? Yes. But don't get it twisted. There are still millions of criminals of all races in this country that don't wear a uniform, that hurt, rape, and murder so many innocent people. They didn't just disappear. They're still out there. Somebody has to deal with them. And if we're going to want justice and shine that spotlight on the bad, and rightfully so, then we better shine that same spotlight just as bright on the good ones as well. Individual murderers are murderers and treated equally regardless of the uniform. But then heroes should be treated like heroes. It can only work both ways. It's common sense. Our races and cultures are so different. But instead of being fearful of that, we should be embracing and celebrating those differences. There is so much beauty in our diverse cultures. We cannot let the smaller percent of bad people taint the cultures we are so proud of. Because be it Muslim, black, white, or even an occupation, when an individual or individuals do something really wrong, we immediately declare war on them as a group or race. And that just pisses off all the innocent people of that race who are assumed guilty only by culture and skin tone. And that just fuels more resentment and more division. It's the same pattern that got us into racial inequality in the first place. And one race cannot do this alone. It will take all of us pulling together and having each other's back. We will always be further and further divided if we keep going down this road. We need to somehow maintain love and respect for each other's races while going after bad individuals. So, we'll need a candidate who we will feel safe with in power. Someone who holds all humankind equally worthy when making those important decisions. Maybe someone who has the courage to hold all Hispanic, white, Asian, black, police, doctors, sports figures, politicians, and criminals, all humans, equally accountable for their individual criminal actions, whilst having the common sense to not punish or accuse any innocent people, rendering them guilty for merely looking like the criminal, be it their skin or their uniform or their culture. As far as I'm concerned, no innocent man or woman of any race or occupation should be punished for another individual's criminal actions. Period. It's just common sense. And no matter how angry I get or justifiable we feel about our causes, hurting an innocent member of our community or making them suffer for crimes they did not commit is as shameful and hypocritical to our cause. It makes us no different than a criminal. But I digress. Apologies. Back to voting. You're probably thinking, a candidate with those morals? This person does not exist. I mean, we are dealing with politicians that make promises they won't follow through with. You know this. You know by now that all candidates promise things just to get votes, just to win. It's a position of ego and power, the biggest power for both sides. Every candidate is far from perfect, and that's because as humans, we are all far from perfect. We got to get off that high horse. So what can we do? We look for balance, right? I believe balance will be the only key to any of these solutions. So we vote for the most balanced candidate that at the very least cares enough about all races equally and also cares about our kids' future while you're at it, meaning our planet's resources. Because if we can't breathe or drink clean water, then elections won't matter in the future anyways. None of this will. I can tell you, if we put in as much time into doing our research on candidates as their policies as we do, say, watch our favorite sports, teams, or binge our favorite TV series. But most importantly, we need to turn off all major network news to educate us on those candidates. I'm not suggesting to not watch the news. But when it comes to voting, it's pretty fucking obvious which party owns what network. They will always protect their candidate and get you to drink their Kool-Aid. On making our decision, this knowledge should be as raw and as fair as possible. We are at least owed that, right? And I figure if we can put a little effort and time into it, our instincts will kick in and we will have a much better shot to making the right decision for all of us. But our biggest hurdle, my biggest worry, is that facts have become replaced by opinions. So do the research. Don't take someone else's well-crafted meme cutely teaching us on how to deal with major social issues and then pass that in 1 second onto thousands with a single swipe and a hashtag just because it's quick and easy and feels good. We're all guilty of that. Dig and look at both sides of all our issues before you make a decision. And as you know, history has been inspiring at times. Amazing stuff has happened, but it also has its black eyes. We know this. But one thing is true. So many people have fought and bravely died and wrongfully died for all of us to have the freedom and the privilege for what seems to be this simple, small act of signing a ballot and getting to participate in choosing who leads our country and who leads our communities. Our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents who fought in world wars for freedom, our ancestors who fought and died for freedom in the civil wars, including all black women, men, and children that were horrifically enslaved in this country, all of who have fought tooth and nail for a right to have a voice, a vote. It's a discredit to them and frankly insulting to not show up once every 4 years to honor them, to honor yourself. I know that voting is not going to solve every issue. I'm very aware of that. But it's a big start and it's a big opportunity to truly be heard. But to truly be heard as a country, we all should participate together. So, just do it. And not only the presidential vote, but do your research in your own communities. There are propositions and politicians that affect your neighborhoods, our neighborhoods. They're super important. Regardless of the outcome, you can hold your head up knowing you did your part. But if you don't, whether things get better or worse, you will look back and say, I didn't even try. I didn't even show up. And I'll leave you with this. And this goes for me, my family, my kids, my brothers and sisters, and all my close friends. If you pass on your right to vote, then you pass on your right to blame and complain about who was voted in. Fuck that. I'm tired of that. No one is going to care about your opinion if you didn't care enough to vote. So let's go. Let's set a U.S. record for voting in November, and more importantly, pull together as a country. Because after this election is over, man, we need to unite more than ever and find positive solutions that will get us closer and closer to being seen, heard, respected, and loved as equals. Life is too fucking short to live with all this tension. Enough. You and I know that there is way more love out there than there is hate. Unfortunately, love can be beautiful, but boring and uneventful, and less shared and broadcast. Whereas hate and chaos gets us way more followers and ratings. Well, I'm out. And if you made it to the end of this video, you deserve some sort of medal for tolerating me. I mean, I figured I'd give it a shot. I appreciate you listening. Happy birthday to me. It's not much, but it's what I selfishly wanted for my birthday. Some of you, if not already, will throw in some mean comments on this post saying that I didn't even pick a side. You don't need me telling you who to choose or who I choose. If you're eligible to vote, then you are a free-thinking adult. The last thing we need is more sheep voting for someone else's choice, especially me, a rock musician. Just gather all the real facts and then do what you feel in your gut is the right thing. And look, the main reason this must be your vote between you and God is because in today's climate, when you try to publicly have a healthy debate or ask questions or choose to look at both sides of an issue to educate yourself publicly, you will be crucified, ostracized. You will be fired from your job even. It's been happening. If your point of view does not go along with the most trending mob, good luck. Even if you believe you are one of the good guys or girls. Which is really sad because when you don't get to debate and learn from each other, ethically share our opposing ideas and thoughts, and maybe move towards like a resolution or resolve or a solution, that's sad. That's just sad to me. So don't let anyone bully you into your vote. You're smarter than that and you deserve more respect than that. This is your right to vote, not theirs. We have a month before the election. Just Google election date like I did. You know, election for dummies. Click on your state and you will get all the key dates and deadlines. No fucking excuses. So many options on how and when to vote. Stay safe and sound out there. Get this damn virus sorted, will ya? So we can all rock together soon. God, I miss it. Peace. Talk to you soon.